Give it some sound. Build up a world from the words that we found. Putting pen to page, we just let it flow. Then tell them the tales that only we know. The fiction cartel. Ask us anything. The fiction cartel. We're here to help you. Come on, join us. You know you want to give it.
Well, good. We can start. It's 7 o'clock. Welcome, everybody, to the Fiction Cartel. And I am so excited that we have a full panel. And I've got lots and lots and lots of questions because we are going to go over finding your voice versus writing for an audience. Oh. I had 36 questions. I've gotten it down to 24. So, I know. I want to introduce everybody. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself. Let's start with Lisa and we'll work our way over to me. Okay? Lisa, if you'd introduce yourself to everybody.
Sure. I'm Lisa. I write as Delana Marr, and that's about it. That's all you need to know.
And there's Scoot. No.
You let me get away with that? Okay. My name is Scoot. I write at Gibberish. I do Flash Fiction Fridays. I do other kinds of fiction. I just published some ebooks. What else? I think that's I've already gone more than what Lisa said. So, Anne, you're up.
I am Anne Kimbrough, and I'm Tell Me a Mystery on Substack, and I write mysteries.
Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Ian.
I'm Ian Dunmore, and I write fantasy. I'll leave it there for sake of brevity. Move on.
Go ahead, Coomer.
Okay.
I'm going to get in so much trouble.
Oh.
I got to keep it going, you know.
Oh, no.
I'm Coomer Wolf. I also go by CB Ash. I write fantasy and historical urban fantasy. Some people actually like it. Next.
Go ahead, Jessica.
I'm not used to being up here at all.
We're training you.
Jessie
You know
Lewis.
that.
I'm this one's daughter, and I'm an aspiring author.
There you go.
That's it.
There you go. I'm excited. I'm Jamie Buckley, and I don't know. I write books and I draw cartoons, and I like being in charge of the Fiction Cartel because I like talking with my friends and learning cool stuff and then recording it for all of you schmucks that need to show up live and ask questions. Okay, we'll leave it at that. See, this is the reason why I want very badly for all of you to write me. Are you reading the chat? Am I missing something here? I should probably pop that up. It's going to show on the recording, but who cares? Let's do this.
We're talking about you in chat.
Oh, yeah.
No, we're just saying hi. Hi, everybody. Randy, Anna, and Neil.
Awesome. Thank you for coming. So we are going to go over finding your voice versus writing for an audience. And I've got some warm-ups. Normally in the podcast on Nothing About This Is Safe, I always have 2 warm-up questions. I realized I want to start doing that with you guys here because these are kind of fun. Okay, so these will be kind of a rapid rather than a discussion. But first question is, and we are going to start with Anne. I only did that because I watched the cup go up. So Anne will be first.
Yeah.
No, this will be good.
Flash Fiction Friday was sweet. Is my answer.
We will reveal that joke at the end of this session. Ian's like, I don't get it. I know. Hold on. Here's the question. If your writing voice were a person at a party, who are we meeting tonight? And how different is that from how you act in real life?
Good question, Jamie.
I try.
Well, that person is very clever as opposed to me, like on the fly. That I'd come across as so with it. Have you ever had one of those parties where everything you said was funny and everyone thought you were brilliant? That's never been me, but that's me when I write. That's my voice.
Okay. Oh, sorry. You're saying ever had one of those? I was like, yeah, but it was with my grandchildren. They were all under 5, so it's like whatever. Okay, Ian.
Yeah, I would chill with 5-year-olds as well. They'd love me.
Ian, you're up. Who would you be? Who is this person at a party?
Oh man. Well, let's see. I'm very neurotic.
Neurotic.
On the one hand, somebody who appreciates details and realism, which sounds odd because I write fantasy. But on the other hand, someone who likes, the other side, which is very high concept. The other side for me is very much, I have two separate sides where on the one side, I love really exciting high action plots. And on the other side, I like these very dense novels like Dostoevsky or that kind of thing. And when I'm writing, I'm always trying to do both. So wherever that Venn diagram is, that's kind of where the two.
So are you saying you would be in the corner? And everyone would be like, "Who's that guy?"
I'd be outside. I'd be outside next to the police car. Yeah, that's it. Where I'd be.
Scoot.
Sitting on the swimming pool diving board. Yes, you.
Yeah, I think my writing voice would be, oh man, yeah. I mean, I don't know how do I answer this.
Honestly.
Genuinely, my mind went blank. I was like thinking of all this great stuff.
Okay, I will come back to you. Coomer.
Okay,
Jessica, you're going to be included in this.
Party. I'm just this totally bewildered guy.
Coomer, let's go to you. We'll go back to Scoot.
Okay. You know how in the corner there's that one guy in a dark green cloak, boots up on the table, just slowly sipping at a warm drink? Not that guy. Based on what I write in my characters, the guy at the party would be the one meeting the paramedics because my voice has actually been beat up and wounded or probably shot by something about 30 miles away, and it probably was a candy corn. Who knows how it got there? Or a cat wearing armored pajamas that fell to the ceiling and hit him. I mean, one of those, take your pick.
Oh.
But he can explain every one of those things to great detail and probably tell you the exact make and how the armor was actually forged while he's being carted away, probably to entertain the paramedics.
Scoot.
All right. I think the character. I'm going to pull a character from my fiction. In the serial I wrote, Duel, there was a sidekick robot called DB431 who is the snappy, witty one, even though he's a robot, kind of lifeless, but like doesn't realize that he's funny. That's probably me.
Cool. I think Jessica left so that she didn't have to answer the question. So I'll say
You got to answer.
Oh, you're there? Okay. You ready to answer?
I had an emergency with my son taking off his diaper. He was poopy, so I had to leave. Will you rephrase the question because I have forgotten in that? Sorry.
The question is, if your writing voice were a person at a party, who are we meeting tonight, and how different is that from how you act in real life?
You see, my writing voice is a lot like my voice. I just ramble a lot. I'd be in the corner with my crafts and just talking endlessly, sometimes making sense and sometimes not. And that would be me.
Great. So now I know that you get that from the blood of your father, because my character would be talking to himself or probably to a hanging fern in the room, having a very in-depth conversation while drinking something or dancing up on a table with a lampshade on his head. I don't do that in real life, but that's how I write. And, well, it sounds like Chuck. That's what it is. Yeah. So I try to be a little bit more respectable, but I do like hanging out with my friends. Let's see. When did you first realize, oh, people are
Wait,
actually...
Lisa's off the hook.
What?
Lisa didn't answer that. Lisa.
Oh, thank
way.
you for
No,
that
Lisa
catch.
answered.
I thought we started with Lisa. Thank you, Anne. All right.
You started with
All
me.
eyes
That
are
was a
now
mistake,
on
right?
Lisa.
I was going to say I would be that one person who's hiding behind the plant, looking and watching everything that's going on, and that's very easy to forget is there. There you go.
Hiding behind the plant, enjoying the conversation.
Enjoying the conversation with the guy with the lampshade on his head.
Taking notes.
Oh, gosh. I love my friends so much. Okay. Okay, next question. When did you first realize, oh, people are actually reading this? And did that make your writing better or immediately worse? And I want to ask Scoot first.
So I think it was my serial Duel where I realized that was the first serial I published after Notes had launched and where there was any kind of discernible audience. And that was really jarring for people to follow episode after episode and, enjoy it. So it was a lot of fun. There were a couple moments that were a little dicey because I didn't outline very well. So I had a couple plot holes that I got myself into that I didn't extricate myself from very well. So I got rightfully called out on that. And so, like, the experience itself was great. Afterwards, I was a little intimidated because I was like, I don't want to do that again. That was awful and horrible and blah, blah, blah. So then I did it again and everything was fine.
So it got better.
Yes.
Awesome. Coomer, how about you?
When I first realized people were reading what I wrote, existential terror. That's probably a good phrase.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
existential
Why?
terror. Well, it could have been the coffee I had that morning too. So I'm not gonna rule that out. But I will say it made me it did make me a better writer because now I'm like, well, wow, at least someone's paying attention. Mostly it just made me go, okay, well, let me be a little more careful, be a little more aware. I already was enjoying my stories, and it's like, well, hey, somebody likes it too, so
Need to put
make
it in
feel a little
perspective
better.
and go, oh, okay. Ian, what about you? Because you've been on Substack, what, for about a year now?
Yeah, just over a year. Yeah. So the first time was there's another writing platform called Vocal. I don't know if anyone's heard of that one, but they actually do a number of competitions each year for things like fiction and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I had written a small thing and I threw it on there. The only requirement was that you had to mention a barn owl somewhere in there. So I just put like a square like barn owl last time and it qualified. And I got runner up for that one, which just means that I made it into the top 50 out of I think there were like 3,000 applicants, something like that. But
Wow.
that was the first time. And oh yeah, and the other thing was that it won me $50, and that was the first time that I ever got paid for anything that I had written ever. And so the fact that it got recognized by someone who's like not family or friend, and even with family or friend, there were really only like two people who had ever read my stuff with any seriousness before that. But it got recognized, and then I earned enough money that after taxes I could, buy McDonald's or something. But like that kind of lit a fire under me. I was like, oh wow, so there's actually something to this. So the biggest change was probably the volume of writing for me. That I suddenly was like, wow, maybe I could actually do something. Maybe other people would enjoy this.
Awesome. Anne, what about you?
So I did one of those flash fiction things you had to write or speed writing or something, like you had to write a short story in 24 hours. And it was like, take your daughter to work day. So I wrote about a witch taking her her daughter to work, and the kid was so annoying. She was doing a spell to make her young again. And I won like second place, but then you read the other flash fictions, and I thought one was terrible. I didn't know how it won, but I thought the third place was the best. And I really felt bad for that person. But it was like, oh, someone read and decided it was fun. I won a little money.
Well, that's awesome.
Cool.
Lisa.
Cool.
I'm trying to think of which time, but I'll go with when I had published Sisterhood and I finally had people who I didn't know buying it and leaving comments. And my reaction was sheer terror. Yeah. It's been a while since I've published anything. I'm just now getting back to publishing again.
Wow.
Wanted to edit those a little better next time.
Huh. Jessica, do you think you can answer this one?
Not really.
Really? When did you first
My
realize
audience-
people are actually reading this? Even with your sisters, even with family?
Well, I was more of a storyteller. I didn't write it down. I just would go tell my siblings stories, and it was very encouraging and empowering to tell them a story and watching them get to the edge of their seat and their eyes are wide. I was just like, yeah, I got him. And it was fun. But I only really share with my siblings, so
Which is still saying
my
something.
audience is limited.
Well, yeah, except for in our household, people should know that you kids are brutal. We're in a household where siblings will look at each other and say, "You know, your baby's ugly, right?" They
Yeah.
they will do that. You want your story critiqued? Yeah, just give it to my kids. And for me, it's kind of like mine's the same with Ian. It was the first time that I sold. It was just one sale. It was my very first comic book, and one person on the internet. And I just made my very first website, learning enough HTML, and I sold one comic book for 97 cents. But it was knowing that I knew, and I didn't live anywhere close to them. I thought, wow. And then she wanted to talk to me because she was like, "This is the craziest thing ever." And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean by crazy?" She goes, I've never read a comic book before. And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "I'm 50 years old." She goes, and then I asked her, I said, "Why did you buy the comic book?" She says, "I've never seen something like this on the internet and I wanted to see, and I really like this." So I was pretty excited. Someone who didn't have not only read something that I did, but didn't have experience. It's kind of like that 3-star that 3-star review we were talking about the other day. So yeah, I can relate most to Ian. Awesome. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I want to move on down to the core here. Voice versus audience. Okay, here's one, and I want to start with Anne this time. Which came first for you? Writing for your... And I know we did talk about this in another Fiction Cartel, but I actually would like to discuss this. Which came first for you? Writing for yourself or writing for a reader?
Well, I'd have to say writing for a reader, because I came up through screenwriting. So there's really no reason to do screenwriting if you aren't going to try to have someone else read it and sell it. But I don't think I've ever just written for myself.
Huh.
I mean, I've played around and learned. I mean, I don't call that writing for yourself if you're learning the craft. But no, although I will say that what I write, that I want to write it for a commercial way. I want to sell it, but I'm entertaining myself first.
I think that's definitely valid.
Yeah.
Lisa, what
Yeah,
about you?
if I don't like it, yeah, I've got to live with it the longest. So I have
That's
to
so
like
true. That's true. Lisa.
I do write for myself. I do. I have to enjoy myself. And I started writing when I was very young. And so I was just bored. So, yeah.
So that came first for you? Okay. Coomer.
Myself first. Kind of like Lisa, I started when I was young, and sort of it was a school assignment when I was a kid. The teacher was like, "Oh, write about what summer, or what something like that, something fairly milquetoast." And what did I do? Oh no, I wrote something that could fit inside Star Wars. I mean, that was what I wrote. Pages and pages. So I've been writing for myself first, and that kind of evolved from there.
Awesome. Okay. I'm seeing a pattern here. Ian.
Except for me.
No, you'll see. You'll see.
Yeah, unfortunately, it also started with myself, so I'm sorry, Anne.
It's okay. I'm an outlier.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember as a kid writing stuff, and I don't think that, well, I didn't have an audience in mind, I just thought, oh, I'm just going to easily write this in seventh grade and, this murder mystery, and then I'll be the next Agatha Christie. No big deal. And, wrote that, and then my first audience was my older brother who found it on the family computer and savagely made fun of me for it. So I didn't write for a little while after that. And then, from there, started writing other stories and stuff. And it really was much later that I started writing for an audience, I guess, or kind of with certain people in mind. But yeah, it definitely began with just me. But I almost can't say it was me. It was almost just more like an impulse. If you're creative, you just kind of create. I don't know if that resonates with everyone else, but that's more what it came from me. It's like, well, I didn't sit down thinking, oh, I'm going to write this story for myself. I just wrote down to write a story, I guess.
But how young were you when you were writing?
Well, that time I was writing stories earlier than that, but the first like full length one that had chapters and beginning, middle, end, I was like 12, I think.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's
well,
awesome.
I used to put on plays, but see, even then I was doing it for somebody else and to get a reaction. Like friends would come over for a sleepover and we'd figure out a play and then put it on for the parents when they got home.
There you go.
So I was always performing. Maybe that's why.
Scoot,
I was just going to say it's funny, Anne, because I said this in a note recently, but one of the other stories I had written after that I wrote between the ages of like 13 and 16, it was heavily influenced by Michael Crichton's Timeline. There was a time machine going back to medieval times.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, like I devoured those Crichton novels for a while, and it was like they went back there, but then I added that like the only ones who could survive the effects of time travel were vampires because they're immortal, but then vampires have this alien DNA, and then there's all this conspiracy, like just layer upon layer upon layer. It just got absolutely wild. And it was just a few years ago that I found a printout of that in my garage, and I sat down and read through it, and it was a really amazing experience. And it was, on the one hand, like, wow, this is such a time capsule of where I was, and on the other hand, I was like, I am destroying this right now. This is so embarrassing. And I did. I like immediately. I was like, no one can ever find this. Like, this was a great little memory lane, and now I'm burning down the memory lane.
Oh no!
Like, nobody can see this.
Oh no! Well,
come on, realize it.
No. See, that's the contrast of like writing for myself and writing for an audience. Like I read it for myself and I destroyed it for my audience. That's what I do.
Oh my goodness,
Scoot! Cool, though.
Scoot, this is reminding me of something that Scoot told me. The example there of at the end of the story. Now write the next paragraph. That is burned in my brain now. You should explain that to everyone else because it was just you and me.
So, to directly answer the question first, I think I started writing for myself, but it was more kind of like, I think I'm picking up what Ian was saying about how like it was more like my brain was so full, I needed to just let stuff out. So it was like I had a page in front of me and it just like spilled, and it was like kind of very helpful in that regard. And then eventually I figured out it was like the audience that I figured out how to like kind of craft it and kind of carve at it. But there's a writing exercise that I did in 6th grade that I was telling Jamie about that we were reading Ray Bradbury's The Illustrated Man, the collection of short stories. Fantastic. And it just left a profound impression on me. But the writing exercise that my teacher gave us was to take one of those stories and write one more paragraph at the end of the story. And it just blew my mind. I think I wrote for like another paragraph on the kaleidoscope, which Kaleidoscope remains one of my favorite short stories ever written. Yeah, I mean, I like it technically for an audience because there's a teacher there, but it taught me a lot about like what's possible with fiction. Like I was like the story itself just did something to my imagination that I just can't explain. It was amazing. And so being able to tap into that and try to extend it and like give that feeling to other people was really cool. So yeah, just I think that's the thing that resonates with me at least about writing for an audience is trying to put ideas or like emotional responses that I am having and put them in someone's brain faithfully so that they are having an experience that I recognize and I can say like, yes, that's exactly it. That's you get it. You get it now.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Mine's kind of a combination between Scoot and Anne. So I'm going to be standing with Anne as an outlier because I started everything, and my motivation to this day still is always, I know Jessica's smiling because I started writing for her and for her siblings. That was my focus for everything that I would do, was always to entertain other people. And, I'm completely relate with Scoot is that I have always had so many ideas. I have books after books after books for, it's just too much. Well, it just keeps coming out. It's never stopped. That's the thing. And so I started like Jessica talked about, I would tell them stories at night. When she was growing up, I'd get home from work and now it's bedtime. We'd have prayer and then I'd take the kids into their room and depending upon what mood I was in, I'd take a kerosene lamp and light that and open the window and turn off the lights and then act out a story and, either motivate them or scare the crap out of them depending on how good they've listened to their mother that day. So, it's just, but it was always for other people. So that's where I can completely relate with Anne. And when I had the experience of selling something, I was just, wait, this is a thing? Oh, I'm going to make this a thing, a regular thing. Lo and behold, that's what I do for a living now. So I like all these answers. So those were our warm-ups. Now I want to have a discussion with everybody. Oh, okay.
You have mercy. I'm already mentally exhausted.
Hey, could you imagine what this would be like if we were still doing this in the morning? How many would show up? Okay. Oh, okay. Here's the first thing I'd really like to discuss with all of you. And that is, there's this fear that, quote, if I write honestly, I'll lose people, end quote. Have you actually lost readers for being more yourself, and did that turn out to be a problem or a filter? I just want to talk about that subject about if we write honestly, will we lose people?
We're all fiction writers, right? I mean, we can write honestly and you don't know it's honest. Right?
That's a good
Well, I
point.
could write the best serial killer. You wouldn't know if that's me or fiction. Fiction. But yeah, you wouldn't know.
I like telling people, they're like, wait, what did you mean by that? I was like, I didn't write that. Hoban wrote that. Don't talk to me. You need to send him an email.
No, it's whenever someone says, "Hey, is that me?" or like, "Is that I recognize that character? Is that anything from me?" And then you just always answer yes whenever they ask, and then eventually they'll stop asking.
See,
Yeah.
I always heard that you could write exactly about people because people don't know themselves. They wouldn't see themselves in anything you write. So you could write exactly what they are like.
Oh, wow.
Well, and more to the point, I guess, of the question is that I definitely don't believe that, like, write whatever you want to write. I'm all about giving people permission to just get the words out. Like, the stories need to be told the way the stories need to be told. The second you start self-censoring yourself, then it stops being the story that it's supposed to be. And then, I mean, if you're gonna offend some people, you're gonna, brush somebody the wrong way, and that's part of the process. You want to write the thing that, like, if eventually your audience will coalesce around everything that you're putting out there, regardless. I've seen people, like, the stuff that really kills me is when you have writers out there who say, oh, nobody reads anything less than 2,000 words or more than 2,000 or less than 2,000 words. Nobody reads this, nobody reads that. And then they box themselves in more and more, and then they're only writing. I'm like, no, I'm like, you can write whatever you want to write. I've published as long as like 6,000 words, as short as 250 words. People will show up for it regardless. Train your audience on what it is that you put out, and then they'll figure it out. They'll figure out whether they like it or not. That's their business. Your business is just to write.
I like that. I like that a lot. Anyone got something to add? Because I got an analogy. I got to bring this back to telling my kids. I think a lot of this is like it's like dating. For some reason, this is my criticism of women, and that is men as a species. Generally, I know there's always exceptions, but generally, men, we like pretty things. Women, what is messed up with all of you is you like animals. That's not our problem. Okay, so that's my starter here. But in dating, what's so weird is that so many of us, and I think it's both men and women, we try to be this, I don't know, we try to be something that we're not to impress upon this person that we're going out with so that maybe they will like us and go out with us again and again and again. But the thing is that when we portray ourselves what we are not, when they finally figure out who you are, chances are greater than not they're going to dump you and they're going to go somewhere else. So what do? You be yourself. My father told me I was so discouraged 3 weeks before I met my wife, by the way. And I went to my dad. I'm like, this just is not working. And my dad just laughed. My dad and my mom, who were engaged within 7 days. I got engaged within 10 days. My grandparents were engaged in under 7 days. My father says, stop trying to find that someone. He says, be that someone, and that someone will find you. Lo and behold. I think that's the same thing with writing. We need to be who we are, and that becomes the natural filter, like Scoot's talking about. Write your story. Even if you're writing for someone else, I write for my kids. But I was never shooting for writing for your kids. That just happened naturally because my kids then talk to your kids, and your kids are like, wait, can I have some too? I guess so. And that's how it happened. I was like, wait, this is a thing. So be yourself, write who you are, what you are, and allow that to be a natural filter.
So, Jamie, when you're saying Zeus turned into a goose to hit on women, that was a bad idea?
I am not. I am one of those people that I'm not a fan of mythology of supposed gods that can't keep their crap together. That they do a worse job of keeping their crap together than mortals. That's just, I look at it and say, that's pathetic. That's, yeah.
Day of Our Lives, Greek edition.
What's the I learned this years and years ago, that there's only 3 stages of a what do they call it, soap opera. There's only getting into trouble, in trouble, and getting out of trouble, and you have to keep that cycle going. That's how they write. And I'm like, oh wow, yeah, okay. So anyone have anything else to add?
I was just going to say, when I was dating, my mother used to get furious with me. She'd be like, you got to put on some makeup. You're never going to catch a guy like that. And I would say, Mom, I do not want to have to wear makeup for the rest of my life to hold on to some guy I caught being fake. I said, if a guy doesn't like me just as I am, he's not going to like me when he wakes up in the morning. So you know what? At least he knows what he's going to get. She's so mad.
I was advertising. What I like about that analogy of the dating is that I'm sure a lot of us have experienced this, where with the person, with our partner or spouse or whoever that is, that you reach a point where you realize that the other person actually knows you, like actually knows you, and also actually loves you, and that's kind of frightening. You're like, really? Like, but why? Like, I only like myself on good days, and I think that happens sometimes too in writing. Like, I've felt that sometimes. Like, sometimes I'll add something that I'm like, well, I really want this. I don't know if anyone's gonna like it. We'll find out. and I push it out there, and then people enjoy it, and you're like, really? Right, you do you,
I like that. I like that a lot. Anybody else? Okay. So what's something you used to do to, quote, sound like a real author that you've since killed off in your voice? Oh, I guess Lisa's going first.
I guess so. Oh man. I was trained in college, and I learned to write a little bit, perhaps too classically. And so some of my original work, especially in Dominion, had to be really rewritten because it read like something from the Middle Ages, and it read like somebody wrote it in the Middle Ages, and that needed to be fixed so that somebody nowadays could read it. So yeah, I had a voice change, we'll call it that.
Did you find an illuminated manuscript in the garage?
Right.
I mean, I'm wondering, do any of you, are there things that you did, or maybe you still do, that you to try to sound like? I know that when I first started venturing into the official indie author space, and this is even before Kindle, before Amazon, but I was trying to be like other people or follow those patterns that, at least to me, seemed like they were successful. Anybody else try doing that, or did you just, hey, I'm just going to do it my way? I came to that conclusion, but
I mean, I don't know that I did anything stylistically where I was imitating people on purpose, but there are a couple things that I like, I guess, methods of writing that I've picked up. Like, again, I like to say that like the very first writing exercise that I published on gibberish, I hated because I didn't plan it, and it just was too wordy, and my default instinct is to over explain things, and if I don't plan ahead of time, it doesn't make for a good story. I let it go, and I get too clever for my own good, and it's not good, any of that. So the biggest thing that I've done is start planning my stories, and then they start making more sense, and I can do something with them. But the other thing is that, like, when a story comes to me and I can just kind of pour it out on the page, I love that, and I think everybody loves it. I mean, that's the best experience, to be like, all right, this story came to me fully formed. It's what I really hate, what I still struggle with, is when I have a story idea and I gotta carve that sucker like marble. I'm like, I know there's something here, but I am working at it, and I hate this. This is the worst. I hate those kinds of things. I mean, I love writing them, but I also hate them.
well, it's really funny. So let me ask you guys this, because maybe I should break that question down a little bit more. Let's go back to definitions. What would you define as, I know you're going to love this, as indie authors? What do you define, or how do you define a real author? Real. I'm imagining the gatekeepers that I've met in real life. What is a real author? What was that, Scoot?
They got some cardiac system. They got some organs, some bones.
I mean, what makes you a real author? What makes you a real writer? I think people are going to be watching this and asking themselves, am I a real writer? Am I a real author? What defines that?
I used to think if you had to be an author once you were published, you were an author, and before that you're just a writer. But I had a friend early on say, nah, just you call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. That's what you are. And it is true. You decide. To me, if you're calling yourself an author, then you're serious about it. And if you're serious about it, it means you're doing it on a regular basis. And why shouldn't you call yourself an author if that means more than just writer? I see them as the same thing. They meld together.
I'm with you. That's how I see it. So, Coomer.
Say somebody who tells stories. Oops, sorry.
No,
Coomer.
no. You can. I'm just watching Coomer. He's been too quiet for too long, so I want to throw him in the fire. Go ahead,
I was
Coomer.
trying to lurk, it didn't work. It was a bold attempt.
I do remember my friend sitting here. Yes. How do you define it?
How do I define
Yeah,
author?
because I really appreciate your definitions of things. I do when we have talks and we discuss these things.
Oh,
You are the smartest one in the class. You know that, Coomer.
we're in trouble. That's all I'm going to say. I'm all I'm say. We're in trouble now. Writer and author.
The key word is real. Because I know when I was a lot younger, I used to think that, do I qualify as a real? Well, what's real?
I worry about young Jamie. Why are you putting this on yourself? I've never thought about this. I've never thought about this.
A lot of
And now I'm going to
self-punishment
have a
there.
crisis. No.
Why?
Real?
Crisis
I wanna
after
be
the
a
fact.
Real girl. What? Jiminy Cricket.
I would say, for me, a real writer or real author is someone who worries less about what's a real writer and real author and worries more about putting down a story they like.
Oh. Okay. And Lisa's nodding her head. Go, Lisa. Add to that.
Go, Lisa. Go, Lisa.
Wait. What?
Am I missing things in the chat? No.
No,
Okay.
he's got a
No, it's
sign.
it's fine. It's backwards, but that's okay.
That's
Oh,
because he's got to point at you, Anne.
I'd like
You're
you to
the
point
author.
it at me.
I'm with author. I love it. I love it.
I've actually had this discussion. I have an associate who came out of a writers group and was told by this writers group that she didn't belong because she wasn't a real writer. And afterwards, as we went through and eventually published her book, I would say that the person who's a writer is a person who's a storyteller and a person who can come up with a story that people are going to want to read. And I don't know how many books those other writers wrote, but she's done quite well.
Awesome.
Cool.
Anyone else hearing a clicking?
Yes.
Do we need to mute everyone down below?
me?
I have no
I
idea.
don't know.
It's not there now. So, okay.
Well, everybody's holding still now. They're like,
Yeah, we're all like,
it's not me.
Well, the sad thing is that I actually had written at least three 500-page novels. And then I was asking my wife and people, I was like, but I want to learn how to be a real writer, how to be an author. And it was my best friend that says, I don't think too many people have ever written a book. I think you're ahead of the curve, Jamie. I was like, okay, all right. Well, I don't know. I don't know what it's supposed to feel like. So just go on telling the stories. Okay.
Yeah, by the time you finish your fourth 500-page book, then you're a real author.
There you go. Then I passed that a while ago. I'm good with that then. Okay.
You
That
were
works.
so close. I'm sorry.
No, that's Scoot's kind of timing. That was a perfect. I walked into that one. Yeah. How do you tell the difference between the genuine evolution of your voice and, because I had a problem with this. That's why I came up with this question. And bending towards what's trendy. I got hooked in for the longest time. I didn't do it, but I stopped writing for the longest time because I was torn between being consistent with what I did choose to do in the end. But I had this huge gap of time that I didn't write anything because I kept reading this growing popularity of, writing to market, writing to the trends. And I'm like, is that the only way that I'm going to, expand what I've already been doing? And I'm wondering, how did all of you find that real evolution of your voice?
but that's not really what voice is. I don't know if we should have defined it because that's not what I think voice is. Voice isn't writing to a market because every market has different kind of voices. I once had someone describe to me that voice was the author's point of view about the protagonist situation. It's something that comes out in the story. But it could be defined in other ways. I don't think there's just one way to define voice.
Okay.
But what you're talking about is writing a certain kind of story for a certain kind of market.
Yeah, to run
Like if
to
you-
run after things that are
But that's not
trendy.
voice. That's not voice.
That sounds more like you're chasing an audience instead of following what you want to write.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
just
I
what it
wouldn't
sounds
do
like to
it.
me. You know,
You got to feel it. Yeah.
Okay.
I
like
think
that.
voice is more of a point of view about the story, or maybe the narrator. I'd like to hear what people think voice is.
No, I think
I'd appreciate that too. Please go
I
ahead.
think voice is kind of like a style, maybe. Like if I was to hand you a paragraph from, or maybe like a page, let's say, of writing and not tell you who wrote it, would you be able to tell who it was? Like, be it a page from, J.R.R. Tolkien, or a page from my work, or a page from, any of your work. Could someone tell that you wrote this? I would say that's voice. At least that's how I think about voice. And for
So
me, that's
style.
like,
Style
Yeah,
would
yeah.
be another way to call it. Yeah.
and so
Some people I would,
my
some I
impression of
wouldn't.
it. Say again.
I think some you would and some you wouldn't. Context of the story might clue
No,
you
I mean
in.
that's true. There's a lot of variables there. It's definitely not like a perfect test, but I think
Right.
the writing to market ends up homogenizing your writing so that people can't tell who it is. It feels the same as other things that they've read. Whereas if you have a distinct style, then it it might be more obvious, or it's more likely to be obvious. Maybe that's a better way to say it. But it's something that develops organically. Like I started writing on the internet nonfiction, and it took me like maybe a year or two before I started realizing like, oh, I'm kind of getting into my groove. Everything kind of like I'm figuring out what I like to write. I'm figuring out how I like to write, what perspective I like to take when I'm writing. Like I'm not writing from authority. I'm writing as kind of like a curious student kind of thing. And that seeps into everything that I write. I mean, nonfiction, fiction, there's a distinct kind of point of view that you start to take in, the details that you include, what kind of things are important. I like to joke, I kind of razz S.E. Reed for this, but like she's very much a naturalist. She likes nature. And so in her stories, you get a lot like of specific plant names that you would not really get. That's a level of detail that you get in her stories that you don't really get anywhere else. Another writer friend of mine, Sarah Dietz, is very into psychology. So you get a lot of like really detailed interior monologues and things like that. And so that's kind of a clue that like, oh, we're dealing with a Sarah Dietz story. So like everyone has something. I couldn't tell you what my thing is. I'm not really sure what that would be. But if we were to really look and we were to analyze our own writing, we would find some common themes here, and we'd be able to start picking out, oh, this is a thing that these are the things that the details that I like to include in my stories.
I like that.
Good answer.
Yeah.
I think theme is also a big part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, we went over theme earlier, didn't we, Lisa? With Alicia. That was pretty fabulous. Okay, so all right. So this sparks a different question. Let me see if I can put it together because not on my list. So new writers. I don't know if you guys have been asked. I've been asked this. How do I find my voice? But I want to put a twist on the question. When a new writer asks, how do I find my voice? What is the worst advice that you've ever heard given to that question? Not the best, the worst.
So this might be. I don't know if anyone on here would find disagreement with this, but I think it can be very difficult, especially early on, to hear the advice of just be yourself, because it's not incredibly actionable, and it doesn't leave you with a great sense of, okay, well, where do you go with this? When you're told, oh, just be yourself, just use your own voice. Because a lot of times, if a writer is brand new, first of all, they're already doing that. But oftentimes when they say that, then they want to grow in some direction, and they want to begin to improve, and it's hard to do that just doing the same thing. They want something actionable, something they can move toward. So if they want to, oftentimes if someone wants to grow their voice, I'll often think, well, what direction do you want to go in? Where do you want to grow your voice? And that often goes to a question of, what do you enjoy reading? What do you enjoy absorbing? And I guess this kind of goes back to the prior question that, okay, so if you're even developing your own voice, or how do you deal with your voice fluctuating? I find that anything that I'm reading kind of dilutes my writing at the time, and it starts to get into there, and I start using the phrases of the most recent book that I'm reading or what have you. It's very annoying. But in a way, it's also just taking that and absorbing it and looking at what's the good stuff in here that I can then kind of steal and start using, and that becomes part of your pattern. And eventually, all the stuff that you don't like in there is going to slough off, and you're going to be left with something that you really enjoy. So my answer to that usually is, well, what are the authors you like? And if you really like this one author, okay, why do you like them? And try and be really precise and try and really break down, what is it that you like about them? Or, okay, well, it made you feel something, it had really high emotional impact. Okay, well, what was it that this author did that had really high emotional impact? Was it the words? Was it the phrases? Was it something about the structure? Was it the plot? And then get as specific as possible, and then just steal it. And then, try and add it into your own work and do it really badly. And then the next time around, you'll do it a little bit better.
For the record, anyone watching this, Jamie Buckley does not endorse stealing. What Ian meant was permanently borrow. Yeah. The worst thing that I've ever heard anyone say is, don't worry about it. It'll come naturally. I think you just outlined perfectly how, because that's what I asked. What do you like? What are the things that you have an interest in? You've got to stumble and fall. And I'm gonna quote Anne: give yourself permission to write crap. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Write crap.
That's how you learn how to write better, is you write poorly. And I think Ian is right that if you can emulate other writers you like, movies you like, anything like that, if you can get the tone going, that's how you're copying them. You're not really copying them. You're just following that line of storytelling.
You're learning from them.
You're learning from them. You're taking it. We all build on each other.
Yep.
In many ways. No one here has created anything from scratch, really. We've created our own version of what everybody else has done.
Well, I heard a quote a while back, a very wise person that I met. He says that we all gain experience at the expense of others. And that's true. So
that's true.
Yeah.
It's
Permanently borrow.
Write what you know. I don't write anything I know because I'm writing about murder and I haven't lived this.
I wish I knew about magic. Oh, yeah.
Magic.
Okay.
I'm writing about stuff I'm totally making up. But you are weaving in, sort of the emotions of life that hopefully, you've had some. It helps. But yeah, don't let things stop you.
Lisa, I got to hear from you.
Lisa.
I don't know. Yeah, you can hear clicking starts again. I unmuted. I try to get people to, when they're first starting out, to write the same passage from different styles. Try on things like try on clothes. Try on the style, see what feels good, see what feels natural. But again, I think what Ian was saying was brilliant. Is just see what you like and then see how that fits.
Awesome. I have a question I want to ask all of you because I honestly do not know the answer. And so I'm hoping I can toss this out there and I want to learn. So there's lots of rules in writing, or we've been told there's lots of rules in writing. I still don't know them. But what's one rule of writing that you happily break? I put all the time in parentheses, but happily break because it doesn't fit your voice or your readers. Is there a rule? And now I got to go with Ian because he's nodding and smiling. Okay. Because I don't have an answer to this. I really would like to know.
Oh yeah, my huge one is show don't tell. That's the big one that I break constantly is show don't tell. And I understand why they make that rule. I get it. And it can be good when you're starting out because there are a lot of mistakes that people make. Like they'll say, he was sad rather than, whatever, describing, his face crying or something like that. I get that. But what can happen is that if that's taken too far, then it loses the greatest advantage of writing, which is the ability to kind of back up and the ability to speak about the subjective experience of somebody or things like that. And if you're constantly adhering to show don't tell, then it can be as if you are just, it can be like a novelization of a screenplay, like you're just describing something visual, like just a movie or something, rather than going in and describing the emotions. And even the sense of like narrative distance, like the sense of expanding or contracting the sense of time, how you can move through entire seasons in your descriptions and writing, and that's something that you can only do that kind of in a montage in something like movies, for example. But in writing, you can say, the seasons passed and her grief faded or something like that, and you can do it very eloquently and very smoothly, and that's absolutely telling. You didn't go down and show specific instances of that kind of thing. You just told it, and it's also a lot shorter. You save like a gazillion words that way, and it's a skill that many older writers have used for a really long time, but less and less do they use it now. And frequently the advice is like get closer to it and stuff, and that's usually just packaged as show don't tell. But if all you do is show and you don't do any telling, then you're missing out on one of the greatest advantages in the medium.
If you're just showing and not telling, doesn't that end up being that you're just writing about world building in effect and not really telling a story? Because what comes to my mind as you're saying this, and I'm going, okay, that makes complete sense to me, is my oldest son, his all-time favorite series is The Wheel of Time. And I'm not here to knock that in any way, shape, or form, because the way he described the story to me, I went out and bought all of the books. I just flat out, that sounds like the best. And I still have not been able to finish the first novel because I can't get through 100 and something or 200 pages of some lady's dressed. I'm like, dude, just say she looked hot and move the flip on. I've tried reading the novel 4 times and I get to a point I'm like, no. I will get it eventually. I might have to be audiobook. I don't know. But that's what I'm thinking when you say that. And it just seems like that is a version of world building instead of I need something else there. So, I mean, does that make sense? Am I making sense?
Yeah,
Well,
I think so. I don't know if oh, I'm sorry, Anne. I just talked a lot. Go ahead.
that's okay. No, I agree with you with show don't tell. When you first said that, I'm like, well, that's a movie term, and I come from that. And you have to show because no one's reading it, right? So yeah, I agree. You've got to move it ahead. One of the early mistakes I felt like I made was as a writer was that I wrote everything consecutively. I didn't have the gaps. Stories need some gaps. You need to move ahead, and the only way you do that is that you have a narrator of the story that's telling us, well, this is the part you don't need to read about, that you don't need the scene. You can, like you said, you write the transition to the next scene. But yeah, I'm totally in agreement with what you said, Ian.
Makes sense. Really makes
Yeah.
sense. Anybody else? Input? Coomer, you're dying to say something. I know it. You're just dying. I can see it.
Well,
You're
original
projecting
question
again.
was-
You're projecting. I can feel this. You go ahead.
Do you remember the original question? We sort of got going there.
What's
It's like, what mistake do you want to make?
No, what's one
Or do you
rule?
make?
What's one rule of writing you happily break
mistake.
because it doesn't fit your voice or your readers? That's why
So
I write
what-
these down.
So what rule I would break, right?
Yeah. Because it doesn't
Incomplete
fit.
sentences. You write some good incomplete sentences. And I like incomplete sentences because you write great action and that needs shorter sentences and incomplete.
You have to write incomplete sentences, but you have to do it very carefully.
Sure. I'll buy that.
You can't just write them and use incomplete sentences everywhere. You have to do them in a certain tone and a certain beat. Otherwise, you lose the pulse of the story. I'd
But
say
you come up with your own. I don't like to let me make you say that's your thing. But I'm saying you do that very well.
it's in there for a reason because that is one of them. I mean, yeah, I'll write incomplete sentences, but it's in there because it's the stories I write are first person and it's from that person's point of view. And as humans, we speak in incomplete sentences about 50% of the time, especially when we get excited.
Yeah.
And so in an action sequence, the main character is excited because they're, got it up to their neck in trouble. So yeah, there's going to be incomplete sentences and it pops the action along. But I'd say I'd say all of them except one rule. I'll break everything but one rule. So that's basically it. So I'll break them all if I need to, except for one.
It's the one.
Don't waste your reader's time.
Oh, that's good.
Sweet.
That's really good. You know what's fun about talking with you guys? Even though I had 36 questions, I narrowed it down to 24. Just our conversation, we've nailed most of the questions. I don't have to read through some of them. So now I get to go down to what I really hoped we would get to. Yes. Is what if scenarios, because I want to hear this from you guys. I don't have to answer. I'm going to be completely the interviewer at this point. Okay. So these are what ifs. Okay. Ready? Who wants to? First of all, you got to volunteer this time. Who wants to go first? Oh, I see it on Scoot's face. Good job, Scoot. Okay. Okay, imagine this. Your next book will sell 100 copies total, but every word can be exactly what you want. Do you still write it all that way, or do you change it to chase 10,000 copies?
Do they all have to be the same word?
No. That would be some book.
Oh.
I thought he was going there too, though.
I am now going to, in my writing and in my blogging, I am going to have certain terminology, and I'm going to say that's a Scoot. Yeah. Okay.
Happy to help. Okay, but answering seriously, so I can write either the story that I perfectly like, but I'm guaranteed to sell only 100. Or I can change it to please the audience, and I get 10,000.
Right.
Right. I sell the 100. I mean, that's just I refuse to concede the ground on writing any other story than the story that I want to tell. It's just it's something I'm hard coded in. I mean, if I didn't pipe in with the rule question, but like my rule is like you got to have fun. Like throw out any rule that prevents you from writing. Like all rules were made to be broken and all of that. Like find a way to get the story down. Then make it good in editing. That draft one has to be just the story that it's supposed to be. So yeah, no, I that's something I don't understand why I am passionate about this, but it has happened to me that I am passionate about this. So there we go. I refuse to concede that anything other than the story that it's supposed to be.
That's why I like you, Scoot. I'm sitting right next to you for a reason. There we go. Yeah.
Ditto.
You don't get you don't get to say ditto. All right.
Don't leave me hanging.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Lisa, so you're saying you would go with the 100 as well?
Absolutely. And illustratedly. Yes.
No, I want the 10,000, please. Can I sign up for 10,000? The second book after that, I'll write exactly the way I want. I want the first.
Right, the second book from the French Riviera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm with Anne. Okay.
I just had to say the opposite.
Oh gosh. Okay, all right. So so I'll ask the second question that's similar to this, and we'll go this way. We'll start with Ian and we'll ask Coomer. Okay, that's this. Okay, you get a guaranteed bestseller, but you have to write it in a voice that isn't yours in a genre you don't love. Do you take the deal? Why or why not? There you go.
Sorry, is that my question or
That's your question, and then I want to ask Coomer because
Okay.
the why or why not will put some variation on this, but yeah.
Yeah, so I think it would, of course, I know this kind of ruins the question, but it would depend on the genre and the style for me. Like, there are some that I just, I'm sorry.
You don't get to boo another panelist. That's just.
I can just say I've been there and I've already done that, so not fun.
I'm kidding. I'm
Take the
sorry.
job
Well,
you're offered.
all I was thinking was that part of me, is immediately like, no, I have my voice. And then another part of me is like, well, I'm often experimenting with different voices. And so in some ways it might be a fun challenge. So that was part of what I thought. But if it's going to be no fun at all, then I don't know. It might be the kind of thing that I'm like, yeah, I can do it. And I start trying it and I'm like, this is agony. And I quit.
You can get a villa next to Anne's in the French Riviera.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there's jobs and there's jobs, and no one's here ever done any ghostwriting. I've written
lots.
for other people in their voice, so yeah, it's not fun, but it's a job.
Yep.
And they wrote brilliantly. That's all I'm saying. My
You know
name's
what's
not
really
on
funny
it.
what's really funny is the question right before this. Jamie, you were asking like, but you would only sell 100 copies. I just got the proof copy for the collection of short stories that I'm making, which I want to be available for the holiday season. And I was calculating out what my wow, blanking out on the word, what my break-even point was.
Uh-huh.
And, it was somewhere in the upper 50s. And I was like, well, I'd be ecstatic if I even reached the upper 50s in terms of sales. So, like, you're talking about, like, but you only sell 100 books. I'm like,
Yeah, like that's low.
well, yeah.
I agree.
Okay. Coomer.
Not my voice and in a genre I don't like.
Right.
I don't know. Do I get to pick the voice?
Got to be
Voice
Gilbert.
you don't like?
If it's a genre I don't like, do I at least get to pick the voice?
I think that's fair. I don't know what the deal would be. That's as far as I wrote the question. I didn't think of that.
Because if you're going to make me write
Yes,
a
you
genre
get-
I don't,
if
if I can't pick my voice,
You can
okay.
pick your voice as long as it's not the one that you normally use. How's that?
And
Well,
if you don't like it,
Yeah. And you don't like it.
Oh, I don't have to like the voice too?
Nope.
Oh,
But it's a guaranteed bestseller. I just want
I
to
was
see
about to
what
say,
makes
you're
my
going to make me write
friends
a
tick.
genre I don't like. I'm
A
at least going
bestseller,
to
but the audiobook is done by Gilbert Gottfried.
Well, that's true. Now I'm thinking of that. What Scoot just said is just like, okay, well, then you're going to be known for that book. And I want more of that voice that you hate.
You're gonna have to explain it to everybody. You're gonna have to be interviewed about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's doable. There's authors who've done that and were absolutely mind-numbingly successful in history. I can think of at least one right off the top of my head. So tempting, but no.
Lisa?
I'm just looking at the chat, which is essentially saying, "Oh no, no, we don't have that time." Yeah, no, I wouldn't take it.
Scoot? How about you?
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I like to experiment with different genres, so the genre isn't necessarily a problem for me, but the voice, I mean, I got to be able to put my own spin on a story. So, not writing my voice, I may as well just read somebody else's story. I mean, like it's not going to be mine. It's not going to be a Scoot story.
Okay, Anne. I'm pretty sure I know your answer. You and I are going to go buy houses next to each other on the Riviera, apparently.
Well, I already answered this.
Yeah,
I have
done
done this,
Yeah.
but not with my name.
Right.
I've ghostwritten for people, It's very hard, and I've written some topics that afterwards I said I'll never do this again because it took you to a place. I mean, I wrote a biography for someone, so it was based on their life, which was horrendous.
Oof.
I just didn't like living that. And then I've also written something that was also about someone else's life, so I had to write the story. And I wasn't the right gender. I didn't live when they lived. I didn't live through what they lived. There was so much about me that wasn't them that was so hard to write. I would say don't do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much money you get paid. It wasn't worth it.
Yeah, I did a lot.
Unless you want to walk in some shoes that you absolutely are like, oh my God, I'm so glad I don't have to do this anymore. I'm so sorry they lived this life, and that I'm so glad I didn't. It's bad. So
Okay. Yeah.
cautionary tale.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the things I did when we were trying to dig our way out of being homeless for first year and a half. That's what I was ghost writing and freelance writing, and nope, my name never went on anything. And I watched some pretty big articles that Disney released, and I went, yeah, that sounds familiar. So, yeah, wow, yeah, okay. Last question for the what if. If an AI, I have to bring up an AI after today. If an AI scrapped everything you've written and generated, quote, you adjacent books that audiences loved, what would that force you to change or double down on in your voice? Who wants to give that a go?
I don't know. I'm very open to AI. I think we should. Come on, Lisa, you should. I'm very open to AI, but not when it comes to writing. I don't want my
Is
writing.
it my AI? Did I
Is
train
your,
it?
Yeah, it's your AI. You
Then-
have it. What do you call your AI? You've got
Aurelia.
what?
Aurelia. Yeah.
Aurelia.
Aurelia Ivy AI. Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, it's
Goodness.
bad. Yeah, if she wants to write for me, I'll take the checks.
But the question is, what if an AI, not your AI, scrapped
Well, then no.
scrapped everything you've written and generated you adjacent books that audiences loved, what would that force you to change or double down on in your voice? So it's kind of written as
Okay, but Jamie, we talked about this related to this earlier in a different podcast. Was that you're not competing?
I know
You're
that.
just
Yeah, what if a
you
human did it?
become good friends with that AI, and if that AI can do as well as I am, then we can do podcasts together and we'll be friends.
Okay. That works.
No, but what if a human did it, Jamie? I mean, would you feel? I mean, it's the same.
that
you
actually
gotta write what you're gonna write.
that actually happened for a little while, where people seem to be claiming other people's books and other people's things on Amazon for a while, didn't it? That was happening.
I
for
had a
bit.
client that happened to, that they took one of his books and changed the characters' names, changed the proper nouns, and re-released it.
Yeah.
Cover was very adjacent, very clearly intended to hit the same people, targeted by ads, the same people.
Wow.
Yeah, and was selling. And so that one of his fans contacted the author and said, "Have you read this? This is like beat for beat your story." Yeah,
Wow.
that happens.
Yes, they could.
Huh. Okay. I'm going to go down the line and let everybody know. Let's start with Coomer. Let everyone know where they can find you and what you're working on right now.
I'm at Coomer Wolf, Worlds of Coomer Wolf on Substack. I am currently writing the sequel to the book that's in front of this chair, Dark Device. I am writing the sequel called Kingdom of the Slithering Maze. That's what I'm working on now. And I'm also working on finishing up and getting ready for print my One of my other serials, Death Whispers of the Etherwave, getting that ready for print. I'm getting a short story. I'm trying to finish that up to stick that in the back as some bonus content.
Are you doing anything for? I'm going to ask this of all of you. Are you doing anything special for Christmas to offer anybody on your readers on Substack? I'm just like a Christmas type thing.
I haven't really figured out anything that would fit with what I normally write.
I think it's going to be hard for you and me, especially doing the fantasy. I get that. So, but I wanted to ask.
I might, if I could think of something, I might. It might be a short story, a little small flash fiction, something. But it's got to fit with what I do. So
yeah, remember Flash Fiction Friday. Yeah, okay. Ian.
Yeah. So you can find me on Dunmore Dispatch. Really, Substack is my vehicle right now. I'm not really on any other platforms. Like I said, I've only really been at this in earnest a year. I will have a short story collection that'll be available for the holiday season. I'll be announcing that on Substack. You can find that information there. It's going to be the 20 short stories that I've written over the past year, plus 3 bonus ones.
Nice.
It's 115,000 words, so I think it's in that vicinity. So it's a little over the length of The Hobbit, essentially. 23 short stories in there. And then as for stuff doing specially for Christmas and the holiday season, I do have, even though it's fantasy, I have a short story that I'm cooking for that time. It'll show up for free. I don't have any paid content on there besides this short story collection. Of course, you're gonna have to pay for that if you want that on your shelf. It's a lot of it is business as usual.
Awesome. And I know you have something for Christmas.
I do.
Where can they find you, and what are you working on?
They can find me on Substack. It's Tell Me a Mystery, and I'm doing the second part of this book, Darkly. I'm hitting my microphone. Down below, I'm the second part of the serialization of the book. You can read the first part. So that mystery continues. We're also doing Jesse Bear is helping me, and you've been there. We're doing writing sprints Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. Pacific. The link is usually a note. Tomorrow morning.
Yep.
And we write 2 25-minute sprints. And then for the holidays, I'm doing something with this guy named Jamie Buckley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
It's fun. It's just a fun Christmas treat.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you want to say more than that?
No.
It'll come out December 1st. We'll share.
Yes. Scoot. And I'm sorry I didn't get next time I will have your ebooks up there under your chair.
No worries. Yeah, I am Scoot. You can find me on Substack at gibberish or gibberish.substack.com. Just released 4 ebooks of my serials that I have published over the last 3.5 years that I've been writing fiction on Substack. Duel, Find the Black Page, Sandbox Earth, and Letters from Armin. Find me on Amazon. My author name is L.R. Scott. So you can find all of that on the interwebs, and I post it on Substack all the time. For Christmas, I'm not doing anything special unless something special happens to me. Well, I've got an idea for kind of some Flash Fiction Friday, something to tide everybody over, but December, January, where I take my writer break. So that's the off season. So we'll see how long it takes for writing to happen to me again.
Except for podcasts, because I'm pretty sure
for podcasts.
You committed to that. I will hold you to that, too. That's going to be fun.
Scoot.
I was visited by a white van, and a gun was held to my head, and I made some agreements.
No, I thought you were going to write the Substack headquarters Christmas party.
So
you're not going to do that?
Ooh,
wait.
I still do that.
The Christmas party was a new addition. You did not mention that before, but
that just came up.
When was that mentioned?
So
right now it became a Christmas party, but the Substack thing, I keep after him for that. You've got to read the Substack. We posted it.
I will post it here in these notes.
Yes.
The Substack
the headquarters. I think one of them. I think the second one is behind a paywall, so I'll unpaywall that for this.
Cool.
And or the first one's behind a paywall. But anyway, both of them will be out of the paywall. And I wish you hadn't said that, Anne, because now I got to write something. So,
Do it. Just you can do it. They're just so funny. They're so you've got to do it.
no, it's cooking now. So
All right.
careful what you ask for.
Lisa.
You can find me everywhere at Delana.com and Delana on Substack and Delana pretty much everywhere. I'm also at the No Stress Writing Academy. And for the Christmas season, I am trying to get done a nonfiction series, which is The Work of Joy.
Yay.
There you go. You heard it here. Might actually get it done.
I'm looking forward to that.
You can do it.
Yeah. And I am Jamie Buckley, and I write on Substack under Life of Fiction. Let's see. And then we also have jbbuckley.com that launched. That's just for writers, our community that includes all these wonderful people on this stage. And we're helping. And let's see. December is all taken care of. We do have a special that we did with, Ann and I. And so that will come out December 1st, I think 7 a.m. I think that's what I schedule it as. And then for the first 25,
Your time, right?
yeah, in the first 25 days of December, you will be able to read chapter by chapter every single morning at 7 a.m. of my Christmas little booklet called Up Your Mistletoe. Yeah, that should be fun. You can also pre-order that book. That's available too. And otherwise, if you don't find me, I'm pretty sure I'll find you because I'm connected. So thank you all for coming and spending time with me. Sadly, this is the last Fiction Cartel of 2025, and we will schedule the next one in the first part of January. But thank you. I love hanging out with you guys. Thank you for showing up and sharing your talent and your perspectives, and happy holidays to all of you. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for coming. Good to see everyone.
Bye, everyone.
I cleaned my shelves today. I reorganized my shelves. Everything looks pretty and wonderful.
Jamie, are you having trouble with your writing?
No? Why?
Because that's the only time I clean my office.
Oh. Well, okay. Wrong seat, Ann. Sit over your own books. And then Jesse takes it. Anyway, and so Christmas comes around, and guess what? I had a freaking big pink. It's the coolest hat. I used to stream on Twitch with that thing. It was so much fun. So much fun.
Did you say it was pink?
Yeah, it's a
It
brain.
was a brain hat.
It's a brain, and it has it has tongues hanging down the side to cover my ears, and a big old mouth that it looks like it's sucking my brain. And it's just, I love it.
Yeah.
So warm.
It was so much fun to make.
So, and I don't
You
know where
made it?
Yeah,
That's so
she
cool.
made it. It's so good.
I hope you have an Etsy store. You sound like
I
you
don't,
need it. Oh.
but I want one.
Can you make a brain that doesn't have any wrinkles? Because I'm kind of a
These can
smooth
be
brain. You go through great long waxing poetic introductions for everybody, and finally Scoot's here also. Anyway, now to the question.
No. Check emails.
When he goes to watch this later, it's all just going to be screenshot of his email.
I was so upset. It was like testing it, and I was like, "Oh, the sound's perfect." Wait, there's no camera. Okay.
There's
There he
Ian.
is.
All right. Never mind. I won't check my
All right, everyone,
email.
stop talking about him.
It's like you say his name and he appears. It's like
That's good.
Voldemort.
Y'all left me in the middle seat. I saw that, so thank you, everyone.
There's no escape. There's
Yeah.
no stage.
Are you going to do a camera, or are you going to stay Avatar tonight?
I'm going to try doing the camera. We'll see what happens here.
Okay.
All right. Make sure it doesn't break.
I don't see a difference.